Serena here. It's the name I prefer to be called. Um, I'm making this video to kind of tell my story and to kind of help out with, like, the anti-bullying situations, because at schools they don't really tell about the cutting and the suicide habits that happen from bullying. They just talk about what needs to be done and things like that. I've been bullied since I've been in daycare when I was younger, and to me it started from when I stepped on a girl's puzzle, but my mom said it was because I was like the only blonde little girl in class. I went through elementary school, and the bullying got worse in like 4th grade, and I was attacked in 4th grade as well as beaten up in 3rd. So in 5th grade, I started scratching myself with my key, and my teacher sent me to the guidance counselor's office, who had told me that if anything was getting to be too much to where I wanted to hurt myself, then I could just go into his office and sit there if it was during a school day. Middle school came around, and I just tried not to care as much when people said things about me, and unfortunately sometimes it worked and sometimes it didn't. And 8th grade, I had my first boyfriend, who, we got into the little fun name calling fits and things like that, but eventually it got to be too much to where I was being called a bitch and stuff, and those words started back in repeating in my mind. I've been called a monster and things like that. I hit freshman year, 8th grade and freshman year, I started really cutting again. I had been clean for like years, and then I've all of a sudden had to start cutting because it was getting to be too much, and stress with keeping up at school and everything like that. I started denying that I had any kind of problems at all, and just buried myself in my work to get away from everything, or I stayed in my room because I liked alone time and things like that. I tried to commit suicide multiple times, and finally when I realized, and then my sophomore year, I had my second boyfriend, and I hadn't stopped cutting yet, which probably really didn't go well with him anyway. And so we broke up after a couple months, and then, I was by myself for a few months, because obviously you've got to heal, especially when, you cared about somebody that much. And the demons kept getting inside my head and making it worse for me. Plus there were a few people who were telling me to go kill myself and things like that, and that continued into my junior year. And in my sophomore year, I finally looked at my parents and said, with the path that I'm going in, it's not going to end well for any of us if I don't get help soon. So I started therapy, and when I went to therapy, I was so uncomfortable to talk about anything suicide. So after a couple months with the therapist that I did have, she eventually sent me to crisis and assessment, because I had shut down on her after she repeatedly asked me the same question. I kept giving her the same answer. So I got frustrated and just shut down on her. So she had my mom take me to crisis and assessment, where I stayed for 4 days. I had started on Prozac in crisis and assessment, and they said that I could be released from crisis and assessment and that I wouldn't need to go to a hospital. The very next day, they sent me 2 hours away to Winston-Salem to a place called Old Vineyard. It was a hospital, or a mental institution, if you want to call it that. But the girls that I were with just really showed that I wasn't alone, and that there were people going through things worse than I was, and it was ridiculous that I even felt that way, because I started caring more for the girls that were in there than my own health at that point. There were girls that were seeing things, and girls who were really trying to hurt themselves while they were in there, and it was just ridiculous, but we all became friends, and it was great. And in those places, you're not supposed to think about going home, and you're not supposed to tell them that, because they could keep you there longer. And so you just went throughout the day just trying to work on your own issues and your own problems. And I got out and went back to school, because that was this past year, and got back and I felt like an amnesiac, just returning to school after something. You don't know what's going on, you don't know what happened. Certain people, you remember them, but you don't remember what relation they had to you, because you start seeing things differently. Like, if they had originally been insulting you, then you're just like, what? Why am I even friends with you? And so it was just a whole bunch of different stuff. And then I've been going, and then my therapist who sent me to the hospital originally, she left, and so I got a new therapist who I trust more than I did my last one. And we've connected, and I've gotten a lot better. I'm 3 months clean from cutting, and my therapist is just awesome. I went from weekly sessions to bi-weekly, and now I'm at every 3 weeks of therapy. And now I'm still like a junior in high school, but at the same time I have unenrolled from school due to bullying and different situations, because I get dragged into them every year at every school that I've ever been to. So my mom took me out of school, and I'm working on getting my GED. So I didn't have to put up with that anymore, because my mental health was at stake, and that's not what it needed to be. My family life is kind of getting better. We kind of got rid of one of the big stressors in my life that was causing some of the issues in my head and things like that. And I'm not saying that I'm completely healed, because I still got to take medicine every day for it. But constant, non-stop medicine taking, but I'm still working on it day by day, fighting day by day. I still have those times where I feel like I'm still fucked up, but I'm not. And so I'm just healing occasionally, and my mom's been a huge support, and so is my sister and my pets, and my instant family, really, like my dad and my mom and my sister and my brother and my mom's ex-partner now, who they used to be together right before they broke up recently. Yesterday I had a bit of a breakdown because I broke up with somebody who I really cared about, but it felt like it was better for them to not have me around to make things worse, as they were trying to get better for themselves. I also want to thank 2 YouTubers who I've watched the most, who have literally, every time I've watched them, no matter what I was feeling at the time, absolutely just made me laugh and feel like everything was great, and for once that I didn't have to be by myself, and the communities for them are so good. So I do want to thank Markiplier and Jacksepticeye for the videos that they make, for, keeping some of us cheered up and happy, even though we're depressed and we've got problems that we've got to face on our own. So I want to thank those 2 YouTubers especially for helping me out, because they are doing wonders in helping me with my recoveries. I also wanted to make this video because some of the people in my school, when they saw that I was a cutter and stuff like that, they couldn't believe it at first. They didn't know why. And there were some people who, during anti-bullying week at school, they were like, cyberbullying's so stupid, you should just block them. That's not how that works. And I mean, they could understand if it's getting beat up every day, but being name called, you could just stop listening to them. But that's not really the case. You're gonna hear it, and you can try to ignore it, but a little piece of it's gonna reach you to the point where your mind's gonna start playing it back out. And I know that, and I'm sure the other people who have been bullied and have gone through what I have gone through know that as well. And it doesn't get told in school very often that the bullying leads to more than just, you're hurting somebody's feelings or anything like that. It ends up waking up demons that never needed to be woken up in the first place. So, I'm not blaming it on bullies, because, everybody has their issues even before that, but sometimes it gets woken up more when you got people, constantly calling you names and things like that. So I just wanted to tell my story, my side of things, and, hopefully, this could do a lot of people wonders. I still have sometimes where I think that I should be dead, and sometimes I really want to, but then I think that I can change the world in some way, and I want to do it. So I continue to help the people that I do, and I don't tend to tell anybody else how I'm feeling at the time, because that's not what I feel like it needs to be done. So, maybe, this video will actually do some good, and hopefully, schools start explaining more about the bullying situation than, just, oh, it hurts somebody's feelings, or, oh, you should do this or do that. I do wish that teachers would do more than, just talking to somebody and saying stop it or things like that, because I've gone to teachers so many times about the bullying situation at my schools, or my used-to-be school, and, they said stop it, and sometimes it stopped, and sometimes the drama just escalated to the point where I couldn't handle it anymore. So, I hope they do more than that, than just telling them to stop. I hope that schools, will start, during anti-bullying week, start telling more about what happens to people who are bullied or who have things going on at home or things like that. But also telling the stories, or having bullies tell what's going on that made them bully somebody else, because they're not just bullying because they want to. Something has happened to them before that made them bully the other people, because it's a cycle. And in this cycle, I'm breaking it, because I've been bullied, and I used to, and then I realized what I was doing, and I stopped. So, hopefully this does wonders for other people out there, and encourages people to either tell their stories or, really work on doing anything that they can to get the schools to tell more or anything like that. So, once again, thank you to my family for definitely supporting me, and my friends, but also a big special thank you to Markiplier and Jacksepticeye, who are the YouTubers I have watched the most. They are gaming channels, and just their high energy and the jokes that they crack, even though they're stupid, just make me, happy and really do wonders in me just being able to enjoy things. So, comment, whatever you want to do. You don't even have to do any of that if you don't want to. If you could, just please try to share this around so, we can encourage more people to either tell their stories or try to get more done. But, thank you guys for listening to my story, and, if I happen to make another video, I will see you then. So, bye!